we need some context because context matters. So for instance, did you know that in just a few years, our national defense budget will eclipse $1 billion? That's 1,000 millions. Wow. Well, why so much? Well, because there's a fear that others would try to steal what they've stolen from others. It's their priority to be well defended from enemies, both foreign and domestic, at all times. Now, what does that have to do with anything we're discussing tonight? Everything. Who has historically been made the enemy in the country, but also more specifically in the state of New Jersey? Black people. And that's not an opinion. Each committee public session that you'll see will make that very, very clear. Because there's a paranoia when you've wronged people, as you fear the inevitability of revolution and retaliation. And what's the easiest way to ensure that your enemy is never strong enough to defeat you? You keep them weak. You impact their health. So yes, there is absolutely a correlation between environmental racism and health inequities. Environmental racism is the icing on the cumulative exploitative cake that's historically been reserved for Black people. Hence, yet another case for reparations. So let's focus a moment on that term cumulative, because in 2020, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy signed a nation-leading environmental justice law, also known as the Cumulative Impacts Law. For years, activists fought tirelessly to make it clear that our overburdened communities simply couldn't afford another or any more pollution added to the numerous existing facilities plaguing these communities. So what does that sound like? Sounds like environmental justice is a lot like reparations. But let me continue. Fortunately, the efforts paid off, and the bill was signed into law in 2020, and the rules were adopted in 2023. This was essential. This was essential legislation because for the first time, there had been an acknowledgement that our community had been targeted when decisions were made regarding the placement of polluting facilities, that a calculation was made when the health implications for Black people being exposed to high concentrations of toxins in the air, water, soil, and a whole host of other issues were worth it. So let me say that again. There's a calculation that is made within environmental racism that says Black people being hurt, whether it's physically or mentally or spiritually, is okay because Black people can handle it, as was already spoken about by some previous colleagues. That's a problem.